All right, I will call the meeting to order. And I assume there are no public comments because if there were some, you would have heard and you would not. Is that correct?
Susan, I'm going to interrupt here because your sound is cutting in and out. I'm going to mute everyone. I know that's a problem, but when you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. Okay?
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Very good. All right. I'll call the meeting to order. I assume there are no public comments because you didn't say anything to me about it. And if there were, they would have had to have contacted you by 4. Okay. No public comments. So we'll move to the liaison reports. Dwight, would you like to give your report, please?
Yep. Happy New Year to everybody. I just wanted to wish everybody a Happy New Year and happy, healthy. So hopefully this year is a lot better than last year. The Board of Selectmen will be reviewing operating budgets later on in January or early part of February. Okay, so that's on our agenda that we'll be dealing with. The Orchard Road project, which is in the planning and zoning right now, the meeting is being held. That's where I came off of. I was watching it on TV and, I came to join this, but that's a very important item for us that we are following here in town. We will be, the town signed a contract to put in solar panels on the new firehouse and somewhere else in town, hopefully, and we can generate electricity to help reduce costs here in town. So it's, which is a good thing. And the other thing we are doing is we're looking at renovating the old firehouse. We're looking to do some work in human services in Center School. We're looking to construct a shed storage facility behind the new firehouse. And we're also looking to include the renovation of existing roofs at the school at Beecher. Okay, so those are the highlights right now. So we'll be meeting a week from Wednesday. So that's about it for me. So unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Dwight, very much. Ellen, could you give us your Board of Finance liaison report?
Sure. I don't think there's anything really outstanding from our last meeting, but Tony reported on the town's finances, which not surprisingly are very solid. We have Tony keeping an eye on things and we're in good shape in Woodbridge. And of course, we're keeping an eye on COVID-19 and the pandemic and want to express the concern and understanding we have about the difficulty of programming during this very uncertain time. But otherwise, there's really nothing very specific to report back to you.
Thank you. Next item, and I failed to say Happy New Year to everybody too, because I feel like we really have a lot of business to conduct tonight. So I didn't want to, and with Ellen having to leave, I didn't want to take time. So anyhow, next item of business.
Thank you, Susan. I'm going to switch off.
Okay.
Thank you. And I'll check in with Jeanette for any updates from you for the Board of Finance.
Just the budget.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll check with you for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we can meet.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ellen. Next item on the agenda, minutes of the December 7th meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
Yes, I have one on page 3, where it is the second bullet point. Another drive-through luncheon tomorrow prepared by Lassie's Woodbridge Rotary Club. I think we just need to add Woodbridge Rotary Club sponsored event or just sponsored, something there to point out that they didn't prepare the luncheon. And then the third bullet, yoga classes not being offered on our public television, the exercise classes. So we're going to just change it to Lori's exercise is on public TV dash, I'm going to write 79 there. I just completely missed that when I was looking at it the first time. And thankfully, Christy watched the meeting afterward. So we'll make those two changes, okay? That's all I have.
Are there any other corrections? No other corrections? Then I will need a motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, Janet, and a second. Jen. All right. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as they've been amended?
Aye.
All those?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the motion carries. All right, the minutes are accepted as amended. And moving through down to the next item on our agenda, it's human services. Jeanette, you're on deck to that, okay?
Yes, I'm just trying to get my screen share going.
That's what we're going to, and we welcome Christy in her new role this evening. Further down the agenda, it will be addressed more fully, but we do welcome you in your new role, okay?
Okay, it worked this time. Let's see. So, hopefully it's coming up. Of course, now I can't see any of you. Give me a second. Well, that's really alarming. My screen went black.
I have Arnie on my screen.
Give me one more second. It takes, my computer has slowed down significantly, so opening documents takes a very long time.
There we go.
So let me see if I can see all of you at the same time. And so I know I'm talking to you and you can hear me and make, okay, so I'm going to read a part of the letter of transmittal. You did not receive this document with your meeting materials because it's just an internal memo between the department and the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen. But what it does is it highlights all the changes. It's like a cheat sheet for the members of the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen to tell them where the budget has gone up, increased, and where it has decreased. So that's what I'm going to highlight tonight. I'll read you the two opening paragraphs just because it says nice things about all of us, and it's good to hear. The Human Services staff, in conjunction with the Human Services Commission, have worked prudently to establish the budget for FY22. We have adhered to all budget guidelines and have level funded or decreased most line items. The department's goal is to provide cost-neutral programming where revenue offsets expenditures. Through fundraising efforts and state grants, we have raised $181,480, which is itemized on page 2. The FY22 budget compares very favorably with the department's pre-COVID FY21 budget request. The FY21 budget request, less projected revenue, was $485,978, whereas the FY22 budget request minus projected revenue is $467,554. All of this will be available to any of you, like Viviana, should you need it. The new budget clarifies revenue sources by combining them into one revenue account. This past year, the department has provided uninterrupted services despite the challenges and obstacles of a global pandemic. Staff continues to interact with an increase in the number of households being served and is a vital point of contact for information dissemination and essential services. We hope the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance will grant the attached budget, providing valuable programs and resources to Woodbridge residents in its entirety. So, on this first page that you can all see, and you all received it, but I apologize that it was late this afternoon. When you got it, it's just hard to send things on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So we didn't have this ready for you before the holiday. The first change that is notable is in the 52,300 regional services line. We're looking at item E for Quinnipiac Valley Health District. Their request came in at 25 cents per person in the town, higher than last year. And they do provide it's based on a 2018 census amount of people in the town, and it is a per person expenditure. That rate has gone up by $2,200. It's $2,201 in their increase, which is 25 cents per person over previous 40-something cents per person, which makes it in the 65 cents per person range. Okay. We are looking, actually, I didn't go in order here because I don't know why I skipped, but I will fix that. Part-time all other item here at 81,726. That line item actually decreased. The numbers you see here to the left, you'll have to remember that this budget is based on not the pre-COVID numbers, but this based on the decrease that the Board of Finance gave us after the start of COVID, where we lost Nancy's part-time employees and we lost my part-time kitchen and staff. So this number, this actual, is far lower than what the projected was when we have a full complement. The instruction this year was to plan for a normal year starting July 1, 2022. And so we've set our numbers back to pre-COVID numbers. This number is decreasing by $4,500. You'll see an increase in all the wage-related line items because there was a 2.5% salary increase across the board. That is negotiated with the unions, and the non-union employees are the beneficiaries. So the reason that that line item is decreasing, even though it's hard to explain that it looks like it's increasing, but it isn't, is because we are taking the senior exercise instructor out of part-time staff and installing her into program/publicity, where all the other instructors for the senior center exist. Our art instructor, our other exercise instructor, the mindfulness instructor, all of our instructors come out of that one line item, and we really were looking for some consistency. Not to mention, I'll get to the point of our revenue side in a moment, but it helps organize our expenditures versus where our revenue is. And so I took a deeper dive in this issue this year just to try and simplify some of the items that were a little bit complex and move things with Tony's permission to streamline the whole budget. So that line item was decreased by $4,500, which reflects a 2-day-a-week, 1 hour per shift part-time employee being moved to a invoice-only instructor. So she's no longer going to be an employee here. The next item I'll draw your attention to is on page 3. Is on page 3. Sorry, I didn't scroll farther enough. Is programs and publicity. This is increased by $4,000, not quite the entire expenditure for the senior center instructor, because I felt like we could better incorporate it here and not add the full $4,500. I think as a contract employee, we'll just need about $4,000 there. And some of our other programming dollars can go to paying for that class. The next item is, I did skip around a little bit, and I'm going to put these into a better order, I think. Sorry about that. General professional services, you'll see this line item has gone up. And previously, it was created a couple of years ago. You'll remember we took the kitchen staff, and we took the director in the kitchen, and we moved the cost of that person into this line item to cover the cost of meals being purchased from Jewish Senior Services in Bridgeport. We no longer needed the coordinator in the kitchen. We just went to the part-time assistant for serving the meals, but we no longer needed a chef to actually make the meals. So we moved that into a new line item 2 years ago called General Professional Services. Since COVID, we've been not buying the meals that we serve in the kitchen. We've been buying frozen meals. What we intend to do post-COVID is offer both. The frozen meals seem to have a really good place in our community for people who are choosing to be independent in their own homes but can't quite cook for themselves or shop for themselves as much as they would want to, and also aren't coming here. It's one of those things that will allow people to stay longer living independently in their own homes. Of course, we still want to create the community that this place offers and have meals served here twice a week. So we've increased that line item to cover the purchase of the frozen meals. What you need to know is that that cost is about a wash. What we charge for them is what we pay for them. That was the impetus to changing a revenue line item that would now reflect the revenue we're taking in for this expenditure. But previously, much of our revenue went into the programs line item, so that it gave us more opportunity to spend, but it didn't show how most of our programs were cost neutral. Now we'll be able to see that the revenue is actually covering most of the cost of much of our programming. This includes our strength training exercise class, our yoga classes, art class. All of these classes that we offer to much an extent are cost neutral. So we've added the cost of frozen meals, but we've also changed. I'm going to switch over to revenue projection. This line was a total of $2,500 last year, and we're projecting an increase here and to pay for those meals, and for Tony to be able to see how these are paying for themselves. Let me go back to the budget narrative. I'm going kind of quickly and running through. If there are questions, please. If I haven't explained it, I think I'm saying more than I should. I don't know. Please let me know how you feel about what I'm saying here. Repair and maintenance line item, which is back here, repair and maintenance vehicle. We've reduced this line item. Basically, what I have found out this year over other years is that with a less than 15 passenger vehicle, we are not required to do random drug testing. I didn't just go seek this information. It started when Warren Connors, our Public Works Director, told me that he no longer was going to have a relationship with the location where we were getting this testing done, and I should go find another location. And when I did more and more research about who was requiring this, it turned out with our 12-passenger vehicle, and we don't have drivers with CDLs, they are not required to have the random drug testing. Should one of our vehicles have an accident, and we are required to do a drug test at that time, we can still, on a one-time or two-time basis, send the driver for a test without having a contract with someone. So we're fine not having the $600 contract arrangement, and we'll knock on wood that we don't need to send anybody, but we do have the backup that we have the money and we have the ability to send the driver as needed if there's an accident. Any questions?
I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
My question is, it's a small issue, but is that being penny wise and pound foolish? Do we, by doing drug testing, I mean, the driver doesn't change whether he's driving a 12 passenger or 15 passenger vehicle. And I'm curious if it impacts our insurance costs, or
Right,
more
so-
importantly, our level of risk in general, for somebody who knows versus, knows that he is or isn't getting a potential random urine screen.
Sure. I did call the insurance company. That was like the second call I made about this after talking to Warren, and they had no requirement and didn't even know we were doing it. So that we're clear there. And second, I'd be hard pressed to worry about the issue of our drivers under current circumstances taking advantage of this. We just recently had one of them had oral surgery, and she refused to come back until she was sure that any drugs from the surgery might be out of her system. And likewise, we had one who had some elective surgery, and he also didn't come right back. I think they're very conscious of the ramifications, and take their responsibility extremely seriously. I don't take this out lightly. I really think it's just throwing away money at this point. We're not required to do it. Should we need to do it, we can do it. So yeah, I'm open to if anyone really wants. I mean, Arnie, if you want to, we could talk about this.
No, I think you answered the question. That's fine. I was just curious about that, but it depends on who the drivers are and our comfort with them to some degree, I guess.
And absolutely, these drivers aren't getting any younger. I can't really say that in public, but so we don't know how long we'll have these current drivers. We're not asking them to go anywhere, but who knows when any of them will retire. So we'll certainly look at that if we get new drivers in. I think that's a great thing to keep in the back of our, or at least in the back of Christie's mind. Okay, so the next item change is equipment rental, which is here. We do this we do check annually if there are any increases. At this juncture, our 5-year contract has up, and when Ellen requested of the salesman we're currently contracted with for new numbers, we were favorably impressed with numbers that changed dramatically. Before, the upstairs copier was at this $127.32 per month plus the copy rate, and we had an additional fee of $35 per month for the senior center copier. And this gentleman came back with a price that included both copiers at the $127 at a dramatic savings. So we don't make a lot of copies. You can see this number is quite low. Tony felt strongly that we could reduce the number significantly after reading the offer from the salesman, and should we require more funds, they'll have to grant us the money. But right now, this looks like the deal, and I think it's actually a very good one. Tony's goal is to get each department. It's worrisome because each department has different contractual agreements for leasing for equipment with different companies, and so we want to get everybody to use the same companies and provide us a savings. On the other hand, everyone's contracts end at different times. So getting them all together is a goal, but it's not happening at this moment. Turns out we're aligned with the clerk's office, and then slowly as it comes up, we're going to try and get other departments, or Tony's going to try and get other departments to align there as well for a savings for the whole town, which I think is a terrific goal. I have increased the office. Oops, sorry, I went the wrong way. Office line item here by $400. Costs for office equipment do not go down. And although we haven't been challenged with the amount we've been given, we are hopeful that with the STEEP grant, we'll be putting in a new reception area, and this also includes small office equipment, and we may need some equipment for that new reception area. So we're going to put in a few extra $100 there to align with the construction potential. No, it is construction, because regardless of the referendum, we will have the STEEP grant money and are moving ahead with the reception area. And lastly is the e-gas, which is here, and it was at this amount, and we've decreased by $500, and the projected is around $3,000, but we're in a build back year, so hopefully our transportation will increase in 2022, but we're still not using historically all of the gas money. So Tony has locked in on a gas price, so we're pretty consistent that we don't have to worry that it's going to jump to $4 a gallon. He's locked in at, I think, $2.15 a gallon, and so we're gonna knock $500 off the e-gas, and that is the end of the major changes in the document. Everything else you can see either was flat or slightly decreased with regard to all of our other line items. Questions? Okay. I think at this juncture, we're going to have a motion to approve the budget, Susan, and then I'll go over the general description of the departments separately, if that's okay with you.
Now, you might just remind everybody that this budget was put together with the help of a small subcommittee too.
Yes, we met, Pat and Susan and I met. They had good suggestions overall that we worked with. I met with Tony on 2 occasions and emailed back and forth quite a bit. I did meet with Tony this afternoon, and we went over all the final narrative changes and numbers, and he has signed off on this as ready to be submitted to Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen. So it has Tony's approval that it meets the criteria of a well thought out budget. I think we've Nancy's done her work. Judy and Ellen and Christy have all contributed here. This document did not come together without me, hounding everyone down for all their numbers, and everybody participated. And really, this department works best when we all work together. This is a reflection on everyone's contributions, including Susan and Pat and Tony, and Karen Crosby, who also helps. So,
members, I think it's important to know exactly how the process does unfold. So,
yes, you're absolutely right, Susan. Sorry that I didn't start with that.
So, are there any questions?
Oh, I should add one more thing. Even though she's not here, Mary Ellen contributed. I based much of this on her prudent request for FY21.
So if there are no questions about the process or any of the numbers, then I will need a motion to accept the operating budget as presented. And actually, the capital budget is, since there wasn't one, but with the steep grant and everything, it's all in there together. We've already approved the capital budget actually. So this would be just for the operating budget this evening. And do I have
I make a motion to approve the operating budget.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is that Janet?
Yeah, it was Janet.
Okay. So Nancy, Nancy Atwood, I can't.
I'm here.
Oh, you are there. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, Bernie and Nancy did also raise, so it's Janet, but then for the next motion, maybe we'll keep you guys in mind, okay? We're not around a table where we can take turns anymore. It's gets a little.
It's really okay.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
really okay.
It's not something I miss. Did you take a vote or?
Oh, we're going to right now.
Okay, sorry.
I can't see everyone, so I can't see half those.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carried. Okay. And I think it's probably unanimous. I didn't hear any nays. Okay. Next,
Unanimous.
okay. Next on the agenda. Well, thank you for the hard work, and thank you, staff, for all that you did for this also. Okay. COVID update. Jeanette.
No, I'm not quite done with the budget.
Oh,
I know you all wish I was, but
okay. I didn't
this has to continue for just a couple minutes. We do have the, I'm gonna share the document. Hold on one second. Oh, it doesn't seem to be here. Sorry, I thought I got everything ready, but
This for the general description, Jeanette?
yeah, I'm just pulling it up now. It just, my computer's very slow. So this is the general description. Let me see if I can move you guys a little bit off of it and still see you. So this is the general description. I really am not going to go over the whole thing. This is what people see when they come to the preliminary budget hearing in the book that is prepared for each department. And this talks about who we are, what we did this past year, what we plan to do next year, and then it has some performance indicators. I just want to bring your attention down to a new performance indicator. We have COVID-19 outreach community support. Pat was very adamant in our subcommittee meeting that we talk about numbers, what we've been doing, and show the taxpayers how we've been responsive to to both the needs of the town and the changes in this department when we were doing other things beside having people in. So as you all know, we never took a break here, and we continued working. This number represents 11,478 times that members of this department either gave referrals, did outreach, provided support to members of this community. So 11,478, the dates are since COVID began for our outreach. It does include some numbers from personal letter writing that we've done, personal calls, outreach calls in general, the support for the holiday baskets, dealing with individuals and making sure that information was all there. And I think it's important to note it's a very large number. Other than that, this document went out with your last minute email, so you can read that. I'm definitely here tomorrow. If anybody reads this material, it's not going to be sent in until the 6th, which is our deadline, is Wednesday the 6th. So you have time to read it. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me directly. I think I've taken enough time. If anybody wants me to read it, I'm happy to read it. But it basically says what you all know, what we do, what we've been doing, and what we hope to do. That is the general description. With that, I think I am done. We're not going to vote on this document. I don't believe you've voted on it in the past, right, Susan?
No, Jeanette, may I just ask a quick question? Can everybody see it? Because are they able to see it? Because what came up for me was another document in front of it, blocking it. So I just want that everyone can see it.
I didn't get it, but I have the printout of it, the general description of the department.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Wonderful document.
It looks very good.
Good. There it is. Now,
There it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can see it, but you couldn't. Thanks for telling me. Apparently you just have to switch your share. Nancy was shaking her head at me, and I should have known that there was something wrong. So basically, maybe I will read it. Do you want me to read it? I don't know. What's your?
Well, I read it, Jeanette, and
Okay.
it looks very good to me.
I think it's just a couple minutes since people couldn't see it before, in case people haven't, and then if you have a question. I love the number at the bottom. The COVID outreach number is quite impressive.
Right.
Definitely.
And you can see that transportation and lunch program and Nancy's numbers of providing programming, these numbers, despite COVID, Judy's numbers, her municipal agent numbers, these have stayed pretty consistent, that we're still doing everything that we were doing previous, only it takes a lot more to plan it and a lot more to execute it to keep everyone safe. And clearly Christy and Nancy and everyone is really creative.
Again, a shout out of thanks from the commission to the whole staff on these amazing numbers, and to Pat for thinking about having as part of the report. So
Just a question on clarity of the table on the bottom. The bottom line, the COVID outreach support, the 11,478, that's not a projected number. That's actual costs that we've had.
It's an actual, yeah, it's an actual.
So it's not consistent with the columns then.
So I think you're right, and I think what we can do is it's an actual. It's not even an estimated for the rest of the year. We've got another 5 months ahead of us of doing the same thing. It's a really good point. I think what we'll do is we'll just put a line between transportation and COVID and those dates, and then just maybe even just there's room enough to write actual right next to it. I think it's an
Something like
excellent.
that would be fine.
It's a very difficult little Excel chart stuck inside a Word document, and Nancy and I had the hardest time with it. And finally, Ellen had to create a new chart and throw this in because we couldn't work with this old Excel, was not compatible with our new Excel. So I'm going to make your suggestions. Ellen hopefully can work with her own little chart. Nancy and I were like pulling our hair out with this chart. So when something is not compatible, it really gives you a hard time. Those are wonderful suggestions, Arnie. I think that if you had that question, others would as well. Okay. Other than that, should we move on from budget?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing. And so my report, you wanted to know about the COVID update. Wednesday, I'll be meeting with Betsy Yagla, and we will take a tour with Karen Lujewicz, who is the executive director of QVHD. She is going to look at our site. She's actually never been here. She's relatively new during the pandemic. She's going to look at our site as a potential vaccine distribution center site. We contacted both QVHD and VNA with the sole purpose of becoming a information distribution center. We were not sure at all that we could become a site. We obviously don't make those decisions. The state does. Karen responded with, well, let's see, when we're ready to make those decisions, let's see what your site can provide. We've done an excellent job with drive-through flu clinics, flu vaccinations. So I think, depending on what their needs are, we've got a good space. We have a large group of seniors who know us and would be comfortable coming here, as opposed to going to a site like a Walgreens or a CVS. And I think that would encourage a lot of them to come out of their homes and get the shot, which obviously is our goal. To that end, Stephanie Charleglio, town clerk, has provided us with a census, and Christy has started the process of creating, we have a program called Schedules Plus, and I think we've mentioned it before, and it's how we do the transportation for the senior center. And Nancy's office is familiar with it because when we were out on quarantine, her office did the transportation. It's a pretty simple program, and you can do robocalls and you can do mass emails with it. So Christy has to, and I think we're going to use Kathy Ressler from Nancy's office to do some data entry from the census, which has date of birth. We can isolate 75 and up into one group, 65 and up into another group. And then when we find out whether or not we're the distribution center for the vaccine, when we find out where and when it will be available for Woodbridge seniors, we can get word to all these people. And apparently the reverse 911 that Beth uses to contact people is now only allowed with emergency situations, and this doesn't rise to that. So thankfully we have this robocall ability, and we can reach the seniors, and the census provides us at least with most of their phone numbers, and now actually it has a lot of email addresses as well. So Christy's at work with that input. Additionally, VNA has said that when they have more information, they will contact us and use us as an information distribution site. They've not had their meetings on how they will be used yet, but they're going into those meetings knowing that we're available and willing to help in any way that we can.
Great.
Any other questions on that? Holiday basket update. Donors volunteered to provide gift cards and baskets for 46 families this year, which was up. And Nancy took a basket and did a basket, and Christy took a basket and did a basket. So even the members of the department, town hall did a basket, the library staff did a basket. We have wonderful donations, and the staff worked tirelessly. There were 2 new additions here. There was a pajama project by a young lady in town, and Nancy had to and Ellen had to do outreach to all the families to find out the children's sizes and genders from all the families. So each kid received a brand new pair of pajamas. The Friends of the Library contacted us. I mentioned this last month, and they bought 2 new books for each kid. So again, calls were made to make sure of the age groups and what preferences for the books. It just was a labor of love. There was just a lot to do. And this year, a lot of the baskets were delivered rather than have them come here, which just wasn't possible. And it really did take up quite a bit of the department's time, but I think made a lot of families get through the holidays and into January significantly better off than they were before.
Jeanette, can you repeat the number of baskets? 40 something?
46.
46, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think we need, before we go any further, Susan alluded to this, we need to welcome and congratulate Christy. She began her tenure here as Senior Center Director on December 14th. We'll be posting the clerical program assistant job opening. This week it'll go into the Woodbridge Town News, which the deadline is the 8th. I think the publication date is the 15th. It'll also go up on the town website, and we'll send it to the CASP organization and hope for a good response. And then we'll form a small subcommittee again to review. Unlike the director's search, this is a part-time position, and the approval is solely with this commission and does not have to go to the Board of Selectmen. So we'll hope to bring it to you on the March meeting. I think Monday, March 1st, we'll hope to have a candidate for your review. Yeah.
Welcome.
Right.
Congratulations, Christy.
Thank you. I'm
Welcome.
very excited to start in this position. Thank you.
Good luck.
She's already an old hand. She's already been here 2 weeks. She should know everything by now.
She should.
Yes, if I was a better teacher, she would. Okay, so that's it for this report.
Okay.
As I see the agenda.
Again, yes, again, welcome from all of us, and we look forward to many years of collaborating with you as we move forward and make the center and human services and everything more wonderful than it already is, okay? I will need a motion to accept Jeanette's human services report.
So moved.
Okay, Pat, and a second.
It's Nancy. I'll second.
Nancy, okay. All those in favor of accepting the human services report?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Next, youth services. Nancy?
Hey everyone, and Happy New Year to everyone. So I just wanted to tell you first about programming. Kathy Ressler actually put the word out for the teenagers in the area, Amity teenagers, to create these We Care bags for the homeless. in various shelters. And we had such a response, first of all, because kids have had a really difficult time trying to earn their community service hours that they like to earn, especially at the high school, because they couldn't get into places to do community service. So we allowed an hour per bag, and the kids put together bags that included PPE, personal items, snacks, waters, just, small gift cards. And we had such a response. We collected 900 bags. And so we actually delivered to, I delivered some to the Reach Foundation, New Reach Foundation in New Haven. Then we had Bethel Center come and pick up a great deal. And then Kathy delivered the rest the other day to Columbus House. So 3 homeless shelters benefited from what these kids did. So we are so proud of our teenagers and are very grateful. I'm very grateful to Kathy because our office really it was overwhelming, and we certainly had so much in there. But it's so good to see it cleaning up again. So thank you to all the teenagers and parents and especially to Kathy for all of her hard work. We submitted 3 requests. I submitted 4 requests from these services for Shop with a Cop, which is through the Reach Foundation. And we had 3 of 4 requests that were approved. So families who were approved got each got a $100 gift card to Target. So we got $300, and then also the police department applied for their own. Normally we applied together. The police department got another $300 in gift cards. So it was great to see $600 come to Woodbridge for families. The Toys for Kids program, we couldn't do paper applications in Woodbridge. So all of our families who were in need could apply, directly through online applications through Teams Toys for Kids. We want to thank the fire department and coordination of our people. Ellen was terrific trying to get in touch with families. We followed up and made several phone calls, and the fire department and Beth Heller did a lot of coordination. Beth was great in ordering toys, and we were actually able to have Santa visit 37 of our kids in need this year, which was up from last year's 15 children. So we are so grateful to Santa and Mrs. Claus. Mrs. Claus did get out there and waved from a car, and Santa waved from the truck. So I missed going with them this year, but hopefully next year. We did get a donation of at least 3 large bags of toys from Artie Dixon. I don't know if you've heard us speak of him. He's a musician from Orange, and every year he does a big party, and everyone who attends the party brings a toy. And this year, of course, he wasn't able to do the party, but somehow he had a drive-through donation, and we benefited in these services by receiving 3 large bags of toys. Some of those toys went out on the fire truck this year, and some were delivered to families, or we had some families pick up. So grateful to Artie Dixon. Once again, he came through. Now we are working on asking our teams to do what we're calling gratitude baskets. And we thought we would give those to local schools for teachers, depending on how many we have. And we can also give them to healthcare organizations. And what we'd like to see are some teams formed amongst some kids with social distancing. But hopefully there would be a team captain, and they could have, for 4 kids maybe, donate PPE, snacks, small gift cards, to thank our teachers and healthcare professionals, and they could put the basket together, or the team captain could put the basket together and drop it off to us, and then we would deliver them.
Nancy, just a thought. I think it's a wonderful idea, but I would not want to forget about the custodial staff in the schools, since they are there no matter what.
Right.
And I think, to recognize that they've been essential workers.
Exactly.
Throughout this process.
So what we'd like to do is have enough in baskets, or deliver a few baskets to a school so that it would cover the whole staff there. Administration as well. We absolutely agree. Anyone who's been there has been through it, and we all appreciate what they're doing. And I think the parents having kids home more appreciate their teachers a lot more. I hope so. We're all learning. And then I just did want to mention BODAC, which is the Bethany Orange Woodbridge Drug and Alcohol Action Committee. It's a long-term, it started out as ODAC, started in Orange several years ago, but it became a local prevention council, and it was also covering the towns of Bethany and Woodbridge. So we changed the name, maybe two or 3 years ago. But the chairperson who was working on the grant each year had left over the summer. And so the grant for this fiscal year had not been spent. And then the grant for the last fiscal year, I'm sorry. So we did get an extension to spend that money. And then also the grant for this year had not been done. So the application was done recently. I worked on it with the new chairperson, who is the coordinator of youth services in Orange. So we are working closely together with Orange on programming. This year's Local Prevention Council grant is just to cover vaping prevention. I think it was, it's a shame that that's the only thing that we can spend it on this year, but vaping has been an issue, especially for our teenagers, and we are hearing quite a bit of it. So we will be doing some, some education work, and hopefully have a speaker probably do a Zoom thing. We will see how it goes. I'm hoping that if the kids are in school in the spring, that maybe we could just have a speaker, speak and then have it shared with all the classes. But we do want to get information out to children and parents, because I don't think parents really recognize some of the paraphernalia. And last year we had a speaker come in, and we just met with the students, but then we also met with the teaching staff, and the teaching staff saw the paraphernalia that was available. And it's, it was quite alarming to see what these kids can access on, online and on the dark web. So that will be coming up, and BODAC will be looking for a few new members. It's rebuilding. And so the Milford Prevention Council actually at Bridges has received a grant, and they are assisting BODAC this year with, working on collaboration and working on the rebuild, because it kind of fell by the wayside and most people don't know about it. So this year will be about teaching people about it. And we did also, Jessica Simone from Orange and I met virtually with the superintendents from Woodbridge and Bethany. And the reason why we did that was to just familiarize them with the fact that we do receive this grant, and we are reaching down not just to the middle school, but also to the 6th grade families as well. We want to get our 6th graders aware of the dangers of vaping, and have their families involved as well. So we will be working on that, and prevention is something that's so necessary. And also the Prevention Council is not just about teaching children and their families, but also all people, because addiction can happen at any age, and we want to make sure that this money, bless you, this money is spent wisely. So if anyone has ideas, certainly, we'd love to hear from you, and we are really excited and really want to get moving, because it's supposed to be an action council, and it's time that we take more action. Thank you all. I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions before we, I'll need a motion to accept Nancy's report. Are there any questions? Okay. No questions? I need a motion to accept the youth services report.
Also move.
Okay, Arnie, and it's
Second it.
who seconded it?
Janet.
Okay, we know, oh, there you are, okay, fine. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried, okay. Christy, we would like you to give us the Woodbridge Center report. I think you and Jeanette are sharing it, with you doing the first part and Jeanette the second part, right? So,
sure.
thank you.
I just want to start out first by saying how proud I am to be part of Human Services. The week, no time exemplifies it more than the holiday season. the week of December 7th, when we had Human Services doing the holiday baskets, Youth Services doing the care bags, and the Senior Center serving 112 people through our drive-through. Just really is a remarkable accomplishment, and I'm just really proud to be part of it. Our holiday drive-through was on December 10th, and we served 112 people. It was generously sponsored by the Rotary, and the food was provided by Lassie's. It was a really fun, festive event. There was holiday music and decoration. Jeanette and I danced just to stay warm, so that made it a little more festive for us. And it was just really nice to see the clients and to be able to exchange a smile and a short conversation with them. And the days following, they really were very appreciative to the town and to the Rotary for a really fun event. Since our drive-thrus are being so well received, we're going to continue on a regular basis and using sponsors to offset the costs. We're going to be meeting with Carol Davino from Coachman Square later this week to see what Coachman wants to sponsor. But they are going to sponsor the next drive-thru that we're having, which is on February 2nd, which is our big holiday drive-thru, celebrating 5 holidays and celebrations in February. It's our super masquerade New Year's party with club. And we will be having soup and chocolates that will be provided by Jewish Senior Services, where we get our meals from. And we're also looking into having bento boxes that have various treats, since they make their own fudge and chocolate bar on their premises, which sounds really yummy to me. Another thing that we'll be handing out is we will be giving craft kits out to represent the Chinese New Year. They'll be provided by Yale China and the Eli Whitney Museum. And then in addition, we'll have little treat bags that represent the other holidays. Keeping with our objectives for this year and increasing our virtual presence, we're going to start offering a new lecture series called Get to the Point of Health. And this will focus on a different health topic every month, beginning with physical health. And then it'll be through Zoom, so that there'll be either lectures or workshops that people can attend, with the first one being an update on the coronavirus, including vaccines. We've been getting a lot of calls at the center about the vaccines, so hopefully this will take care of a lot of questions and also help to keep our clients safe in the upcoming months till hopefully there's an end in sight for the coronavirus. Later in the month, we'll also have another topic on how to stay fit when encouraged to stay inside. And that'll just focus on different exercises people can do at home and the reason why it's so important to do them, with an emphasis on fall prevention. ER visits are most ER visits in this, older adults are due to falls, so it's really important that we try to prevent them as much as possible, especially during COVID. Lori's exercise class is continuing on Tuesdays and Thursdays on channel 79, and Michelle Tenney's strength training class is still being offered on Monday mornings. We will be adding 2 new Tai Chi classes that will be offered through the VNA. One is a beginner's class and the other one is an intermediate class. And it will run from January through March at $30 per session. And the last thing is our mindfulness class that had to stop abruptly due to COVID last March will resume in February for the final 3 weeks. And then after that, we'll follow a new session of 6 weeks that will be open to everyone. And that's all for programming.
Thanks, Christy. Great job. I'm just going to update you on a new grant opportunity. We were contacted through the Area Agency on Aging for South Central Connecticut, and it's a non-competitive grant opportunity based. The the funding is through the Federal CARES Act. It is non-competitive, so it's basically $2,500 sitting there waiting for us to apply for it. It works as a refund kind of grant, so that we have to spend the money and then they'll reimburse us. But I got approval from Tony to spend this money with, knowing that they'll be reimbursing us. We'll apply in the next few weeks. Christy and I plan to write this next week when we get past this budget hurdle. Basically we've identified, it all has to be COVID related, safety or other COVID related. Isolation is a COVID related issue. So one of the things we were looking at are these craft boxes, the drive-throughs to continue the stimulation, the contact. We have some other ideas for when we open to have kiosks through the Schedules Plus program, where people can go online and sign up for programming without actually coming into our office and actually pay for programming. They can sign up for virtual programs. They can come in, and we'll have it is going to be a scanner for their membership card. Everybody will get a membership card, and those costs associated with a kiosk could be put into this grant. The Schedules Plus program works its best at a lot of locations, and they have touchless. They have touchscreen sign-ins. I'm not sure right now how the touchscreen with COVID would work. We're certainly going to do everything possible to have safety first, but these are the way that most of the senior centers are going, and people, we can keep track of people's attendance, we can keep track of people's payments, we can keep track of what people are doing every time they come here. So, and even when they're not here. So we're looking at some of the things that we might not have put into our budget, but would be available through this grant, which would be terrific. And I actually have a pile, you can't really see it, there's a pile behind me of all the things that are on our wish list for COVID, and we just have to fit it into $2,500. So that's our goal for next week. We've each been downloading things like, what if we had this? What if we could do this? And putting them in a file. So that'll be our goal, is to pare it down to $2,500 request and submit exactly what they're willing to give us, because it's basically free money, and they have enough for everybody, so it's not competitive. That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions? Okay. Need a motion to accept the Woodbridge Center report.
Make a motion to accept this report.
I'll second.
Who made the motion? Oh,
Janet.
Janet, okay. And Viviana seconded it.
Yes.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I think we have reached old business, new business. I think we don't have any old business and new business. So, our next meeting is February 1st, 2021. If there is no other business to come before the commission, then I will need a motion to adjourn, and Jeanette, you're going to remember to turn off after we
My cursor on it right now. I would just like to add, before you get that motion, that in your materials for the meeting tonight, you did not get the Senior Center or Youth Services or Municipal Agent reports. and you will be getting those prior to the February meeting. The fact that the meeting is the 1st makes it very difficult to actually get the end of January into the report. So we'll definitely be giving you the December reports on February 1st. Right now, I'm going to put you on notice that we may not be giving you the January reports on February 1st. So we may be working a month behind until we get a little leeway on any of these months. March 1st is also a meeting. So, but it's just a thing with Human Services being the first Monday of the month, and we don't finish the month, and so the numbers don't finish until Friday before. So just let you know, we'll be definitely getting you those reports, and you can look through them at your leisure.
So, thank you. And I need a motion to adjourn. Jen? Okay, Jen will make the motion.
So moved.
I know she's muted. And a second?
It looked like Pat seconded.
Okay, all those in favor of adjourning? Okay. No one's opposed.
Aye.
Aye, aye. Our motion carried. We are adjourning the meeting at